Hey guys, today's video is going to be all about tools. So we're gonna go over all of the tools that we have accumulated since we hit the road, why we love them, how we store them, because we did just recently change this within the last couple months, and I think it's a great system. Jason did a great job. And yeah, we're gonna show you all that and more, and let's roll that intro so we can get into it.
Alright, so starting off, you may see somewhat of a trend here on the table, maybe a specific color. We didn't do this just because we like this color. We picked up and use mostly Ryobi tools. That is more due to the fact that we started off with Ryobi because we don't use our tools every day. We're not building houses, and so or doing any kind of contractor work. We're very light hobbyist use, and so our tools just need to work, and not every day. And so Ryobi is a great home consumer line, and they're cheap, so it's something that I really like. And we just started off with some, and the thing I like about Ryobi the most is that they have a huge assortment of tools that do random things, as you'll see, and they all use the same batteries. And so tools are actually not that expensive, but batteries can definitely add up, and so keeping it within the same battery system means that I can take any battery and put it in any tool, and it doesn't matter, it just works. And so I guess let's start off with batteries. I've actually, over the last, we started with Ryobi tools before we hit the road. I started picking up batteries slowly. It kind of came with a starter kit that I got. The batteries, just like your RV batteries, have different amps or wattage available to, I guess it's watt hours available to your tools. And so I started off and I got just a kit that came with this like really tiny 24 watt hour battery, and it's what I've used for the last 2 years. And I picked up another tool and it came with this slightly larger battery that's 27 watt hours. And then I just recently picked up these two batteries. They came in a pack and they have 54 watt hours. And so like I said, these 4 batteries can mix and match and go into any tool, and it's great because I could be using one and have another battery or 2 charging, and then if I run out of power I can just swap it out. And so it's really a great system, and I really like how cheap the Ryobi batteries are compared to some of the other bigger name brands.
Yes. All right, so we are gonna do a speed round because we could take a lot of time actually talking about all these different tools and the different ways we use them, but this is going to be a speed round. Okay, should we start which way? Go this way, go that way? I
guess let's start over here.
All right, well this one's all you, bud.
All right, so
talk about this
starting not with the power tools.
Yes.
This is a brand new purchase, and it's just a torque wrench, but it's a big beefy one. We had a torque wrench that we used for years. And then just recently, I actually was with Tom Morton up in Michigan, and he was doing something on the truck, on his truck, that I need to do to mine, which is replace our front rotors. And he found out that you need 250 foot-pounds. And my torque wrench only went up to 150, and his only went up to 200. And so I made this purchase, and it's great. It's heavy duty, it's Craftsman, and now I'll be able to do those front rotors and torque it efficiently and make sure everything else on our RV gets torqued to the correct level.
Yes. And this one again is all you.
All right, and so this is a rotary, I forget what it's called, but it's a Dremel Ryobi version. I had a wired Dremel that we used quite frequently, especially to like cut small holes in the RV walls so we can run cables and put like coverings, and we use it for quite a few things for just like cleaning up edges and just...
We used it to help install the brackets on our solar panels.
Yep. So this is, instead of it being wired, it's now wireless, and we get to use it with our battery system, and all the Dremel attachments in terms of like sanders and cutters all work on it. So
cool. Okay, I could talk about this one. This is our pressure washer. So you probably saw this in our deep cleaning video. We use this to clean all of the screens. What we do like about this one is that it's actually not too intense, because you have to be really careful when you're gonna wash your RV with a pressure washer. You do not wanna be on high settings, especially if you have decals, because you could literally start to ruin your decals or start the peeling up process. So this one is not too powerful, which sounds like a negative, but for us it's a positive.
I think 320 PSI.
Okay.
320 something.
Something. We'll look that up and we'll put it down here. But it's been great. It has a little waterproof box down here. So this is where the battery goes, and we just pop in a new battery. I think we went through like all of the batteries when we decided to do a deeper clean on the outside of the RV a couple months ago, but it's worked out really well. So we've used it on the roof, and it does well on the roof. We use it on our solar panels, we use it on the RV, so we like this one.
And the other benefit is this one can take water from not only like a pressurized water source like you plug into at the campground, but it can actually siphon waters from a bucket, or what I'm thinking about using it for is from our water bag when we're out boondocking. So
yes, so we could actually wash the RV when we're out boondocking. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
All right, I think I could talk about this one as well. So a lot of people have made fun of us for this when we first showed this one, but I don't care. This is just an automatic caulk gun. So ours is pretty dirty, as you can tell, because we learned the hard way that you are supposed to take this and break the seal before you put it in here. So we didn't do that the first time, and the tube exploded in here. So remember that. The only downside to this is it doesn't have like the trimmer for the top of the caulk, like the little plastic tube. You're supposed to cut that off, break the seal, and then put it in here. We have a manual one that actually does cut the top for us, but this is just really easy, and I feel like I've probably used this more than you have because I have a little more of a steady hand. So when we're doing like whole seams or anything like that, I'm the one using this, and being able to just push the button and have a steady flow is a lot cleaner of a job than like pressing the trigger on the manual one the whole time. Oh,
and the only other thing I wanted to say about this is although it looks big and fancy, this thing was like 30 bucks, while like a regular caulk gun is like 20. So it's not so much more, and if you have the batteries like you should, it's not a big deal.
Yes. All right, you got this one.
All right, so this one I just recently purchased. I haven't tested it out yet, but I got to use...
This looks new.
Yeah, it's still got a tag on it.
Sometimes I find out about new products during the video with you guys.
They show up, they just blend in. So this is actually a water pump. So we originally had a water pump that we had from Harbor Freight, and it ran dry, and the impeller like exploded and got all this black plastic in our water, and it was very upsetting. But I was with someone this summer, and they had the Milwaukee version of this, and it allowed us to pump water really far from my truck all the way over, which our onboard pump couldn't siphon that far. And so I thought that was really, really awesome. So I picked this up the other day, and this will actually help us with the pressure washer if we wanted to. So
cool. Well, that'll be good for boondocking.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I could talk about this one. Hot glue gun. Yeah, it's actually, when Jason brought this one home, I was like, really? A hot glue gun? But I have used it a couple times. It heats up really fast. It's really nifty to have around, so yeah, it stays in the collection.
Same as the caulk gun, it's not that much more expensive. I'm sure you can get like a really cheap hot glue gun for like $8, and I think this was like 25. And I like it. All right, moving on. This is actually what started my whole collection, and it was just a handy dandy drill. So this is just a standard drill. We've used this thing for probably about 8-9 years now, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the OG tool.
Exactly. And it actually came in a set with this, which I never used until we started RVing, and I use it all the time now, and this is a impact driver.
Yes.
And so I use this quite frequently. It's like a drill and a hammer built into one. And so this is really, really nice for getting off the lugs on the trailer or truck when we need to change a tire, or really just kind of drilling anything into something difficult. Next up, we have...
I don't know what that's called.
This is a soldering iron.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did know.
Yeah, and so this is really nice. You know, I had a regular soldering iron that you had to plug in, and it broke, and so I was looking to buy a new one, and I saw that Ryobi came out with a battery-powered soldering iron, and that is great, and it especially helped with some of the stuff that I've been working on, the electronic stuff that I've been working on. I don't have to plug into anything. It uses my existing battery system, and I even actually previously had a butane-powered soldering iron because I had to do some stuff on our truck headlights and crimp some wires together. And so, yeah, I really like this. It's such a nothing but like exciting tool for me.
Yes. All right. I almost just called it the wrong name again. This is a brad nailer.
It's Bradley.
But I very often call it a Bradley gun. So yeah, this is what we use when little pieces of trim fall off on the RV. It's just so convenient to come and get this and, you know, poof, poof, that's the noise it makes, and put the trim back on. So that's what I've used it for. You've probably used it for a couple other things, but yeah, we just grabbed this when we got a couple pieces of loose trim. Very handy to have around.
Yeah, super nice. It just requires battery. It has its own little onboard compressor, and so most other brad nailers you have to plug into a compressor, which we don't want to carry around like a compressor tank with us, which is what we would need to use our by air. So it's really, really nice, really convenient to have and not have to take our RV to a shop to add a piece of trim back.
Right. Next up, we have our circular saw, and I've actually used this a lot. Again, with the hand-eye coordination thing, I'm a little bit better. So when we're cutting stuff, I personally just really like to use this. It's a lot of fun. So we've used this around a couple of projects in our basement, and
used it more on the road. We had this. This was one of the original that came in the other set, but we've used this one more on the road than we did at our house.
Yes. So definitely handy to have around, especially if you're going to start doing your own, DIY projects around the RV.
Yeah, and that goes into this one, which I also just recently picked up, and I'm excited. It is a 10-inch Orbital buffer. And so this is for us to be able to wax the RV.
Yes.
It actually comes with, I just got a brand new set of buffer pads, microfiber buffer pads, and some Meguiar's flagship marine wax, which is highly recommended. And so this is a task for whenever I have time.
Yeah, gonna be an arm workout, that's for sure.
We're just over a year since the last time we got it done. A wax on the RV, and it was like $450 plus tip. So this thing was about $40, and the wax was about $20, and I got plenty of time.
We'll see.
But I'll make time.
Yeah, exactly.
For $400, I'll make time.
Exactly. All right, next up, a handy dandy little shop vac. So we originally had like a kind of the bigger like canister shop vac, and it just took up too much space. We didn't really use it that much. We'd clean out the car.
But now that we have the Green Mountain Grill, Davy Crockett, you have to actually vacuum out some of the pellet ash every, they say like 3 bags or so. And so I didn't want to use our Shark inside vacuum. Ray would get very upset. And so I picked this up for cheap, and I actually love this. This is, for me, a really nice purchase because it makes it so we don't have to like really, like I can sweep something into a pile in the house and vacuum it up, or vacuum up the stairs, or vacuum the truck. And so it's just a nice, quick and easy grab, vacuum, and go.
Yes. All right, is this our final tool to discuss?
Final tool.
Okay.
This is another upgrade that we just purchased, and we're hoping to never have to use it.
Yes, a chainsaw.
Yep.
So this is battery-powered chainsaw. We did, if you saw, oh my gosh, over a year ago, we were out boondocking in the Black Hills, and a couple trees came down during a storm overnight, and when we woke up the next morning, we were essentially trapped in there. So we had tree trimmer clippers that we went out there and we tried to start working on it, but immediately that day we just went out and we picked up a chainsaw because we were scared it would happen again, because we were going to stay at the boondocking spot for a couple more nights. And we had that chainsaw for, you know, almost a year now, and it was taking up space. It was gas, so
it was 2 strokes, so we had to carry the gas oil mixture, and I bought True Fuel to make it last longer and not have to worry about it, but it was just still, it was
not ideal.
No.
And since we've reorganized a lot over the last 6 months, we decided to get rid of that and pick up this because it's much smaller and takes up less space.
Yep, it's light, requires very little to no maintenance, and it has a big enough blade to get out of sticky situations. Yeah.
Yes.
So this isn't for everyone, but for us, because we're boondocking more, I like this because we can help ourselves and we don't have that helpless feeling like we did when we were stuck.
Yes. All right, on to the next, which is showing you how we store all of this. And I'm very excited to show you this.
All right, so we have recently upgraded how we store our tools. And one area is here on the back right side of our RV. We chose this because the tools tend to be a little bit heavier, and our fridge is actually on the left side, or the driver's side. So we like to put a little bit heavier stuff over here to kind of counterbalance the RV. And we recently just upgraded to pegboard, as you can see. So far we really like it, and it fits all of our tools nicely. All the power tools go in here and they look nice and shiny. And a couple of other odds and ends, like our good old trusty wrench. You may have seen us use this in a previous video. So comment down below if you know what video we're talking about and why I have this stupidly large wrench. All right, let's get to it. I gotta put all those tools back in here now so we can show you what it looks like when it's fully loaded. All right, so it is definitely still a work in progress, but I absolutely love the way it looks, especially with the Ryobi green on the white pegboard. It really pops. We still have to do some more stuff, and we picked up a couple more tools, so I need to get some more pegboard holders for things like this and the chainsaw. And I even tried using my 3D printer to print some pegboard holders. And while this will work for something that's light like the hot glue gun, I don't think I would trust it with really anything more than the hot glue gun, or I'm gonna print one more for the soldering iron. We installed all of this in Elkhart, Indiana when we were there, and so it's been tested from Elkhart to here in California, and so we've definitely learned some lessons. These big tool holder hooks do a phenomenal job with the bouncing and jostling of everything. We have not had a tool fall off of those. I do have some of these other smaller regular hooks that I picked up at Home Depot with the pegboard itself, and they do not secure these big tools as well as I would like them to, so I will be removing any of these extras and replacing them with specific bigger power tool holders. This is my first experience with the pegboard, and I really like it so far, especially for the organization and the ease. But we'll be working on moving tools around, making it a little bit more usable over the next couple of months, so we'll keep you informed. Next, I guess, and the last thing is we have a battery charger back there, which I have plugged in so I can charge my batteries and have it always plugged in and accessible. So that's another really cool feature that I like that we added in. And this isn't all of our tools though. We still carry a small tool set and some other things. So let me show you where we keep those. We're up here at the truck, and that's because this is where we store all the rest of our tools and the odds and ends that we carry with us. We are always paying attention to the weight we have in the RV and on our axles of both the RV and the truck, so we make sure that we're not going over, and that's a very important safety thing to do. So we noticed that we actually had more capacity on our rear axles and had quite a bit of room while fully loaded to add more weight up here. So we finally bit the bullet and purchased a truck bed toolbox so we can move our odds and ends and other kind of heavier tools up here and keep them in the truck, which is good because we would like them in the truck just in case we had an emergency anyway. So we purchased a couple of other things to make sure that it stayed organized in this big truck toolbox that we purchased. We got the Tractor Supply version, and I got it so it would fit underneath the rails here, so it wasn't sticking up. In case we do get a tonneau cover, I don't have to buy a specialized one that has a cover that goes and like touches the toolbox. I can get just a regular tonneau cover that can go over the toolbox. So that was something that I thought about and wanted. And it's also lower profile, so you can't really see it, and so hopefully no one tries to break into it because it's just less apparent, like the ones that usually stick up over the edges of the bed. But to keep everything organized in that big box, we got a couple of things. I picked up this Craftsman toolbox, and it's really nice. It locks, and this is where I keep screwdrivers, wrenches, and sockets, which are the things that I use the most, along with pliers and hammers and whatnot. So this thing is awesome. Previously, we kind of had everything just thrown into a big black and yellow Home Depot tote. So if I wanted to work on something, I would have to paw through that, and then we had a big soft-sided tool bag, which was also not organized. They were all just thrown in there. So this makes it a lot easier for me when I'm working on stuff. But tools aren't the only thing that we have. I purchased these small piece storage boxes, and I was able to buy extra nuts, washers, and screws of the different kinds we use in the RV, which are self-tapping metal ones, bolts, wood screws, metal screws, and I actually went through and put all the different sizes in here because that's something coming from a technical side and not like a hardware side. I still can't grab a bolt or a screw and tell exactly what it is, and so I labeled all these compartments so when I'm looking for something, I actually understand what it is that I'm trying to find. And so I have two of these just full of screws and bolts and washers, and then another one which is full of little electrical crimp ends, waterproof cable glands, lots of little PEX clamps, and bunch of little extra PEX connectors and other odds and ends of things that I think we might need in an emergency on the road. So these are just my nice little storage utilities for all these tiny little things that it's always nice to have when you're out and about. So all of these store up in the toolbox, and it has taken a decent amount of weight out of the RV, and it's a lot more organized. All right, so that's it. As I said, it's a Tractor Supply toolbox. It's actually built by Better Built Toolboxes, which is a really good company. I really like it. It's watertight. It had a super easy installation, which was something that made us nervous of screwing into our truck bed, but it was just a couple of metal self-tapping screws, and we checked underneath the frame to make sure there wasn't anything there, like a fuel line or anything we needed to be wary about. It does come with a key that you can lock it with, which is also great for the paranoid out there like me. Always want to make sure that you keep your stuff locked up and safe. So overall, I'm very happy with it. I'm glad we were able to get all of this organized better and out of the RV. And so that's it. We'll have links for everything down below. If you have any questions, or if we missed a link and you want to know about a tool or why we use a specific tool, comment down below and we'll be happy to give that to you. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join the Getaway gang. We'll see you next time. Bye guys.
But yeah, we're gonna show you all of that, show you some tips.
What are they called? The hub things. Those bolts. Lugs, yeah. You don't know? No idea. This is This is a soldering iron. Soldering iron.
I don't know the official name of this, and I feel like I should.
We'll call it a.
Oh, now I feel like I should look it up. Circular saw.
Circular saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I cannot see.
Really? For
No,
once, you can't see something.
We added a truck toolbox. I know I don't need to do that, but it's like really hard not to.